Let's review really quickly how our body uses oxygen.
We breathe in air. It has oxygen in it. Our lungs help pass the oxygen to our blood. Our blood passes the oxygen to our tissues. At high altitudes, there is less oxygen, meaning less oxygen in the blood and less oxygen gets into the muscles. Thus, we feel winded. So, our body compensates by creating more red blood cells. If we go down in altitude, those extra red blood cells then can carry even more oxygen to our tissues.
So why is it then that everybody thinks altitude training is all about the lungs? It makes sense, you feel winded when you're at altitude.
Not far at all from where we started. We're already really winded.
But it's not about the lungs. I mean, over time, you could probably build some lung capacity, which is really important. But in the short term, and what most athletes are actually doing when they go to altitude, is something completely different. In fact, this is what's happening. First, your body senses the lowered amount of oxygen in the blood with little special cells in your kidneys. Those cells trigger the release of the hormone EPO. Now that hormone functions to trigger the release of more red blood cells. So athletes that train at altitude have more red blood cells flowing through their body. And remember, red blood cells carry oxygen. So simply the more red blood cells you have, the better you can carry oxygen to your tissues. So if you train at altitude and you go down in elevation, you have the ability to push yourself harder for a short period of time. The trick is it only lasts for about 15 days before you lose it. Then again, there is some controversy as to whether or not it's actually all that beneficial to train at altitude, because it does take a lot of time to get used to the altitude, and you really are not getting the greatest workouts when you're getting used to the altitude. It just takes a lot out of your body, right?
Holy crap.
Did you know there is a formula for how long it takes you to acclimate to certain elevations? It goes like this. It takes 11.4 days per 1,000 meters in elevation to acclimate to wherever you are.